yesterday my 41 student, Janatun is my 40. His name is Irfan. He passed his Viva. He took almost 6 years to complete his PhD. During the Viva, the professors, there are two professors examining. The examination for the first 1 hour was very tough. Almost, I thought that my student will fail. I'm not kidding here. My heart was beating fast. Yeah, true. Therefore, because we are online, so they don't see us, we are not in one room. So I go to take my wudu, then I make salat hajat for my student so that he able to answer all questions correctly. He did very well. Yeah, I was really impressed. So therefore, I really believe that with good prayer from a teacher and good prayer from yourself and from your parents, you will succeed. Therefore, he got B1. B1 here is like, well, A is like A plus, yeah. B1 is like a or A minus, right? So it's a good pass. Well, I was shocked, truly, guys, I was shocked. I was truly shocked. So when I got up from the session, I go and travel, I had a meal, lunch, noodles. Here we call mie tarik. Ya. Bukan macam mie celur di Palembang, iaitu mie tarik di sini namanya. Yeah, we got that. I was in the car, I was wondering, wow, Allah teach me a hard lesson yesterday. Yeah, during the Viva, that he will decide. But the sweat, the effort is from you. You got to work for it. The decision to pass with good grade is him. But you got to sweat. You got to spend your time to it. Yes. These are the things that I really like to mention to you all. Yeah. I just said just now that there are 41 students that I produced, graduates. Everyone, their journey is not entirely the same. The fundamental the same, but some of the sideline attributes, attitude, commitment, perseverance, focus, distractions are all different. Yeah, so we're going to listen to Dr. Janatun shortly after this, how she has gone through her PhD. All right. I also invited Dr. Aishat, but I don't think she has wake up. Yeah, never mind. She's waiting to get a flight back to Nigeria. So I hope everybody. I was giving one lesson on Tuesday. Tuesday to docent and dean and deputy dean of Universitas 11 Maret, yeah, on attributes of good teaching. The dean, deputy dean, the head department, and few young docents attended it. And we found that teaching actually is not an easy task. Yeah. But the deputy dean, Professor Wahyudi, always mentioned that every single one of academic in UNS must have PhD, right? Because if not, you cannot climb the ladder. Yeah. Everybody should, he said, should reach professorship. But there are requirements. So one of the visa, the big visa, the permit, yeah, is PhD. So therefore, here you are. And so I hope everybody are excited about this, right? Hold on to the, it is tough. It is tough, PhD. Yeah, I've gone through many times. Yeah, every time I go to Viva, the examiners are also examine me. Yesterday, both our examiners are my close friend. They trashed my student for 1 hour. trash means that they really hit hard. But my student knows his stuff very well, extremely well. So he made the situation yesterday clear. Therefore, the examiner said that you deserve a B1 because you understand your thesis. I was so, yeah, I about to cry yesterday, yeah. We have our friend here, India, and then Anissa. Anissa, I think it's Malaysian, I think. Gan Faisal, dan Isti Andini, dan Mutiawati, right? Elvis. Fitri, you upload the slide that on Janatun will upload her slides, mine. But I want you to upload the slide of Dr. Mazlina I sent this morning.
Doctor, I think Fitri should upload my slide, because I'm afraid that my connection not stable.
Okay,
so,
Fitri, you go and upload. I have sent the slide of Janatun a few days ago, right? Yeah, you can you scroll to see it? And then Silva Ariani, can you upload the slide of Mazlina? I did send just now. And then I like to have Gan Faisal upload the slide of Dr. Tisa Eka Dharmayanti. I already sent it this morning. Everybody must participate. Yeah, everybody must participate here. When we do things, guys, we need to do things seriously. Meaning that you do it skillfully. Meaning that you do it accurately. Meaning that you touch the finishing line. Okay, we have 1 more minute to start. You see my whiteboard clearly, right?
yeah.
Is it clear, my whiteboard? Right. So we shall begin now. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu wa ala alihi washabihi ajmain. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Today is a session that we're going to resume from the past 6 sections that we have done. I really appreciate those who attending today's today's session. Today we'll be looking at conclusion, for which that Salmina did ask me last week on how to do conclusion. So welcome Salmina today. So we're going to look at conclusion. What is it? Okay. Let me tell you how people read thesis. I have been reading thesis for the past, I think, more than 40 thesis. I think, not only from Malaysian public university, but also from Australia, Indonesia, Denmark, and also Bangladesh. I found that when we read thesis, in the thesis, people will read the title first. The title is the initiator that lets someone, the reader, go into your thesis. The first page they will read is your abstract. The abstract is the page. It's the page of the thesis. In the abstract, in the last few lines, all right, there is this conclusion. Okay, there is this conclusion. So the conclusion must be concise in the abstract. And then after abstract, Then they will go to chapter 1 to understand your research problem. What actually you are investigating. So yesterday, for my student Irfan, the chapter 1 is not clear. So they call it, we do not understand your premise. I like to write this word, your premise. So this premise is actually what actually the subject that you are investigating. Therefore, this chapter 1 is really mambo jumbo, meaning that quite chaotic. But his slides defend him. His word reveal word by word, clearly, no stumbling, defend him. All right? So therefore, we must do that. Then after chapter 1, who's abstract? First abstract, then chapter 1. Okay, chapter 1 is the premise. It's the premise. Why? The question is why you want to do this research. That was the first question. It took him to clarify it 1 hour. Until both examiners understand it well. Then after this, people will jump straight to chapter conclusion. Meaning that they would like to know your novelty. They like to know what you are going to contribute to humanity. They like to know how you have achieved your research aim. I repeat, they like to know your novelty, how you contribute a thesis, the study, a process, not a product, a process, not a product, contribute to humanity, right? And how does you achieve the target your research aim. You got with this, then you have smiles on the face of all examiners, because after this, they go light to your research methodology chapter, to your results and discussion. Then finally, sometimes they go to your literature review. If this is not done right, then you are in hot soup. Okay, so these are the things that I really like to remind you of. So today we're going to look what is this. Okay, I'm going to erase this part. Okay, guys. When we do research, we must be doing it skillfully, meaning that it just must be accurate. What is the things about skillfulness? The things about skillfulness is that Allah Ta'ala love people who do the work skillfully because it will contribute. Yeah, there's no fake thing. It's all about truth. All about truth. Okay, meaning that, okay, this is the start, right? From your chapter, can you all see this? Can you all see this? Yeah. From Gan Faisal, do you see this? Gan is not ready. Chapter result and discussion, right? You have your objective. I would like to say you have 2 objectives. We'll see. Janatun later on has 4 objectives. RO1, RO2. See, when you discuss this in your chapter result and discussion, that you are revealing most of it about facts. Most of it. The truth is not revealed yet, not properly revealed yet. So these are about facts. Okay, therefore, what are facts? Let's say if you talk about space in open spaces in Power Taman, my student doing it now, she will talk about space. Those are facts. She will talk about properties of space. Yeah, but come to conclusion, she will migrate. She will evolve her thinking. she will change her thinking into place. Space and place are two different things. Here, she will show the denotation, what it denotes. Here, she will display, explain, illustrate, demonstrate connotations. Therefore, in results and discussion chapter, this. In conclusion, this. Therefore, you need to triangulate a triangulation process for which that you bring together the facts of research objectives or all objectives to point the truth contribution of your research. Okay, let me explain it further. If you were to look later on the work of Janatun after this, you will see that she will explain and differentiate between pneuma, which is the object pole, but the conclusion, the gnosis. Right? Go ahead and look the meaning of this. In architecture, this one we got it not from architecture, from other disciplines, but we bring into architecture, we bring into urban planning, right? Then we talk about things that is tangible. But these tangible things like footpaths, buildings, architecture, yeah, it changed. It's temporal. But what is permanent? Things that you cannot hold. Culture, belief, senses, yeah, that's intangible. This is permanent. Okay, therefore, in Dr. Tisa Eka Dharmayanti thesis on ruang ketiga di rumah peranakan di Lasem, ya, bidang emas, ya, bidang emas. She utilized the word in the facts. Conclusion, she displayed on a wajah, but the conclusion is not wajah. This is property. Yeah, you can measure it. This one you feel. She displayed it in watak. Therefore, conclusion doesn't tell us about watak. Doesn't tell us about wajah anymore. It ends in discussion. Watak is where you display. Watak is where you display in your conclusion. This is the things that you bring in the conclusion. This is the thing that become fundamentals. Yeah, you will turn into fundamentals. It will turn into principles. So when people ask you, "Hi, Daddy, what is your research?" If you have 2 minutes to explain, you explain this. You don't explain wajah. This takes time. This takes 20 minutes. This takes only 2 minutes. And then people understand you. Understand? Okay. We no more talk about numbers, which we do it in result discussion. We straight put what is the value of it. Therefore, if you look on where people looking at home place, people at place leadership, we will listen from Janatun after this. Life world, you describe the life world of children, life world of residents in Periode Taman under result and discussion. We're going to migrate, we're going to change, we're going to shift to home world. Home world and life world is two different things. Life world, properties. Home world, attributes. So in conclusion, you tell home world. You all understand? Where is the student just now who like asked me? Her name is what? Salvina, is it? I forgot the name. Is she here? Is she here? 24, I think she passed. Okay. You got this? You got this? Right? Okay. Now, this is what I wrote in my research group Facebook, for which that almost every single day I will add new knowledge to it, new facts to it. All right. So therefore, I would like to someone to read this. I like to call Salmina Ginting. Can you read this? Is it clear for you, Salmina? You need to open your mic. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Read this. Can you read it?
Yeah, already read it.
I like to hear you reading it. Mohon dibaca.
Conclusion illustrate. I cannot see your screen. Wait.
Daddy, can you see this, Daddy?
Yes, Prof.
Can you read it?
Yes. Conclusion illustrates the novelty of a PhD thesis. Novelty means new knowledge that benefiting humanity. It extends existing boundary of knowledge of your subject of inquiry, including an extension on your research trend map. The developer conclusion is a recency of knowledge. We can summarize the conclusion in a flow diagram, example fishbone illustration. Conclusion denotes you have reached a scholarship of thinking. You have value knowledge. Ultimately, you place your words behind your intellect.
Yes. Okay, that is, guys. So here, at the end of your thesis, you should be a scholar. You should be an expert in the subject matter that you have done your study, or wish that the examiner see you as an expert. That's why they asked you. Like yesterday, my student, he was asked at many angles, but he is an expert on artwork in school of children. Why artwork is necessary to be taught outside the classroom, not inside the classroom. Yeah, artwork is not just looking at to produce the art. No, artwork is about friendship. Artwork is about getting together. Wow, when he revealed that, then the examiner said, "Wow, this is a new research. This is truly new. Wow, we were amazed by this." It's in his head because he has this. We call it. He has this intellect, but this intellect, he put his word behind intellect because why? He is a scholar. This is the thing that you will get when you complete your PhD. All right. Now, I'm going to base my talk after this, but before I call Dr. Janatun, I'm going to ask Sylvia, can you show the slide of Dr. Mazlina? I'm going to explain this. What is this diagram, this flow diagram, all right? You will see also from Dr. Janatun after this, but I'm going to show you what is the flow chart diagram of my first student. She is number first. Janatun is number 40. Okay. Can Sylvia show it? Sylvia? Okay, you are not ready.
What file?
Yeah, can you show it?
I haven't got any file.
You did not open from my WhatsApp, from our WhatsApp.
I don't have your number actually.
Oh, Fitri, can you open it? Daddy, do you open the things that I WhatsApp this morning? Send you this morning. Hello. I'm going to send it to Fitri.
I'm sorry, Prof, but my Microsoft Office doesn't work. Maybe another one can help to open the PPT. I will send to Sylvie.
Can you send it to who you sending it?
To me. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
What's that? That's not my work.
It's mine. Wait a minute. Okay. Hope that work.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Now let me explain this. Okay. This research is on people, place, relationship. Who's people? Residents of a small town. What is the subject? Effects of experiential contact. With what? With green infrastructure, with greeneries. Okay. So therefore, we're going to look what are the properties of the green infrastructure that affects well-being of residents. I repeat, what are the properties of green infrastructure in a small town, the trees, the lake, the birds, okay, that affects well-being of residents. Okay, so this is research we call cause and effect. Cause and effect. Okay. Next slide, please. Next
It's
slide,
more?
please. It's slide number 13. I like you to number 13. The conclusion.
I see. Number, oh,
Number yeah, go down. No, number 13. Yeah, 13. 13. Okay, thank you.
this one?
Yes. This is a fishbone diagram. The head, which is the outcome, that when residents of a small town physically engage, running in a park, running along lakes, hearing the birds, smelling nice flowers and so forth, go sit under the trees and so forth, they will get the head, which is circle, the green circle. Physical, connective, social well-being of residents. But what are the properties that cause this effect of the greenery? There are diversity, naturalness, coherence, yeah, and additional attributes. Under diversity, one of it is called amount of space. Yeah, the bigger the space, the diverse it is. Under naturalness, matured greenery, meaning that some of the trees are 172 years old, very old, planted by the British. And it also looking at coherence, meaning that how do the space is related to each other. Okay, when we have these 4 attributes, it will point to the outcome: physical, connective, social well-being of residents. Next slide, please. Yeah. Then she further summarized it in the conclusion that in order that naturalness, diversity, coherence, right, it will affect physical interaction, cognitive interaction, and social interaction. But that inner circle is being engaged by people through experiential. Yeah, experiential. These are physical kinetic, meaning that they have to run. Okay, they have to socialize. Then there are also perceptual. They see the socialization. They attach to it. So these are what we call as conclusion. So in order to write the text, yeah, the logical rhetorics, we call it in conclusion, we need to begin with this diagram. We'll see how Janatun do it on his diagram later on. Okay, you draw diagram first, as what I think should be in architecture or in urban planning. The next slide, please. Lastly, because she is in landscape architecture, she knows how to draw. Therefore, if you start on the top is the town, plan of the town. Then start number 1, home garden. Then you proceed to playground and playfield. Then you proceed to town center. Then you proceed to field, esplanade, alone. Then you proceed to the lake garden, the huge lake garden. Then you go to the hill. So when people move from 1 to 6, they will attain well-being. They will get well-being from the green infrastructure. This is what conclusion is. You got it? Yes, no? Hello?
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right, now can I go back to the main picture so that I can see Janatun? Can you
This one?
yeah, this one. Okay, we like Janatun slide to be up. Fitri, you need to show Janatun slides. Fitri,
So I need to stop it.
yeah, you should stop. Yeah. Okay, Fitri, you post Janatun
Yes,
slides.
Prof. Yeah. Okay.
If you have problem with your internet,
Prof.
someone need to replace you. Okay, good. All right. Janatun. Hello, Janatun.
Yes,
Janatun.
yes. Yes, I'm here.
Okay, guys. Doctoral candidate from Universiti Gajah Mada. Here is the slide of Janatun. Before she present, I'd like to tell how rigor her research is. Right? The rigorousness of research is well noticed by two examiners. Don't change the slide yet. Fitri, don't change the slide. Hello, Fitri.
Slide number
Yes, Prof.
1.
Sorry, my Zoom is
Are you having problem with the slide? Fitri, your problem with internet, right?
May I, Prof, share the...
Yeah.
Yes.
Cancel Fitri.
Okay.
Okay. While waiting for Faisal, guys.
Yep. Sorry, Prof. Okay, this Miss Janatun.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, hold on. Let me tell who is Janatun. She's Malaysian, doing 5 years PhD with me, full time. No play. It's all about seriousness. How this is being translated in this Viva Voce examination defense? It is translated that both examiner, one from National University of Singapore, which is the external examiner pengujiannya daripada NUS ya. Dia profesor daripada Britain ya, dia orang Inggeris ya. Dia sudah 3 kali examine student saya yang mungkin research on child friendly environment. Yeah. So she said this. Listen guys. Can you show my face first, Faisal? Can you show my whiteboard first?
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
They
No,
can
no.
pin actually.
Faisal, tunjuk saya gambar ya, foto saya dulu, Faisal. Whiteboard saya dulu. Faisal.
Okay.
Okay. There are 20 offers. Okay, Faisal. Doctoral student, yeah. UGM. To reach this stage, it's not easy. Therefore, I invited international professors. She is a British professor that examined thesis 28 throughout the world. From Britain, UK, to South Africa, to Nigeria, to Singapore, to New Zealand, to Australia, to the Caribbean. Yeah, 28 theses. Among these 28, this thesis is the 3% best. The 3% best. Yeah. So therefore, in UTM, when we give grade, this in UTM, right? I'm not saying that UTM must have your own way. I do examine students from Unhas, they have their own way. In UTM, they give grade A, B1, B2, then J. This one you got to rewind. D and E. This one very few. This one 60 to 65%. This one about 25 to 30%. This one, A is rare. A is less than 2%. In my faculty, it's less than 0.5%. In my faculty, 26 years we have PhD program. There are only 4 out of 600. Okay, right? So therefore, today we're going to look how the research been examined, which is high quality research by Janatun. Okay, Janatun, you can begin your presentation. Faisal, post her slides. Okay, Janatun, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Okay, everyone is ready, right? All right. Hi, Assalamualaikum and good morning. You can hear my voice clearly, right? Is it?
Yes.
Okay. My title of my thesis is Affordance of a Coastal Village as an Outdoor Play Milieu Affecting the Sensibility of Raja Ubian Children in Bumbum Island, Sabah, Malaysia. Okay, so next slide. So I have 5 sections represent my 5 chapters in my thesis. Next. So for introduction, for research background, this research is under the umbrella of the child-friendly environment concept. This concept has become an agenda and interagency initiative by WHO, UNICEF, and UNCR. Despite the spark interest in CFE, there is no direct translation or clear definition of environmental child-friendliness within the literature, and the criteria are often diverse. Nonetheless, most researchers found a middle ground that there are 3 main universal denominators: nature, affordances, and play. However, most CFE research happen to be in urban, suburban, and neighborhood context, less from rural perspective. Whereas the mission of CFE is to be inclusive and international. In other words, we need more knowledge translation between rural and urban, including a village community in a coastal milieu. Next. So, but the question is, why coastal environment? And globally, the coastal environment in rural area is part of the World Water Village Committee and is associated with indigenous people. However, nowadays, there are facing challenges in terms of urbanization, westernization, and political interest. Thus, there is a sense of urgency that we need to address their existence by aligning with other fields of research, especially in the CFE agenda. Fortunately, from Malaysia context, locally, CFE has been standardized in the Statutory Development Plan and the National Physical Plan, NPP. It has been translated to provision in the wealth of infrastructure and facility. Unfortunately, it more focused on physically oriented rather than behavior oriented. And until today, there's still no suggested hypothetical environment of CFE. Next. Therefore, this research intends to fill 3 gaps, which are first, geographical location, second, social-cultural contact, and third is strategy in research methodology, with this research emphasizes on a combination of ethnography and phenomenology. All right, next. Hence, this research aimed to discover the physical properties and attributes of a fishing village in a coastal area which affect young children's sensibility through utilization of affordances that support their outdoor play. It has 3 research questions in responding to 3 research objectives. First, to explore the affordances of a fishing village in a coastal area from the young Bajak Ubian children's play experiences. Second, to examine the physical properties and attribute of the fishing village in the coastal area that afford children functioning in outdoor play. And third, to determine the pattern and trend of affordance level in the village through children experiences. In achieving the aim, each objective will be answered based on different analyses. Okay, next. Okay. Oh, this one in PDF, right? Okay, never mind.
Yes, so yes, I open with PDF
Oh,
review.
okay. Okay, never mind. For the literature review, the trend on research with nature in children environment research could be understood from bibliometric analysis, consistent of keyword co-occurrences network from 350 journal articles from the late 1990s to the early 2020s. In figure A shows that children build their relationship with nature through play when the affordance are actualized. In figure B shows that most research on nature is synonymous with adult designated space instead of the neighborhood where their home are located. Differently, in figure C, it shows in the home setting, most research focuses on children being active in traveling, active mode of transportation, independent mobility, and level of physical activities. This means that children engagement with nature through play, through the actualization of affordances in their home setting is scarcely reported and is not being explored. Therefore, this research link the quartet between children, play, nature, and affordances to become acquainted by adding children home setting. Instead of focusing on the neighborhood in an urban area, this study focuses on a coastal environment. And another important thing to notice from this analysis is that no social behavior appeared or was scarcely reported. Next. Okay, this inspired this research to come out with the theoretical and conceptual framework which can be understood from noesis, which is an intentional act of pole, and noema, the object of pole. For theoretical framework, from the perspective of noesis, it started with the theory of affordance by Gibson 1979, focusing on functional properties such as afford to jump, afford to swim, that allow children to play in a coastal environment. Then, as the play involve action and interaction, not only as an individual, but also as a group, who usually their friends or buddies, so they need to communicate, which involves sociality. For example, social referencing or social competence that generate social behavior, which made this research chose social ecology in showing social behavior by Hogan 1979. Play also needs space. Thus, when similar affordances are shared in a particular space, eventually it forms synapomorphy that generate a pattern with distinct characteristics in the space that could change space to place, known as a behavior setting by Barker 1968. So this evolved to the conceptual framework for this thesis, whereby the qualitative variable for noema, the object of pole, first, jargon, which entail Baja Ubian language, and the researcher did not familiar with that language. Second, geographic setting, comprise land, transition, and sea. These are kind of different geographic setting from prior research. Third, independent mobility such as swimming, walking, and paddling may determine the range of their play due to the parental decision. Fourth, object play. Fifth, the physical process indicates moon phases and type of time. Together, all these five may influence the qualitative variable in noesis, which are the actualization of affordances and type of play. Finally, both intentional and object of pole configure the reciprocal involvement between these two poles. Next. For site selection, this research has been conducted in Sabah, Malaysia, mainly because Sabah has the highest number of islands and the highest rural population. This research selected Kampung Susan Baru in Bumbum Island for three main reasons: availability of facilities, amenities, safety, and transportation network. These villages are inhabited by community of Baja Ubian, and according to local researcher such as Ismail and Ahmad 2015, Rahman and Chin 2018, based on four types of social typology, Baja Ubian is one of sub-ethnic of Baja who reside in a coastal area in Sabah. They are exposed and receptive to modernization, but still hold to their tradition, which consists of a sense of togetherness, belongingness to, and livelihood from the sea, and also the house architecture. So next, okay, on land, the landscape is occupied by community facilities such as mosque, graveyard, a school, a community hall. Next, next, please. Okay. Okay, while the coastal area comprises timber houses built on steel, which appeared to be floating during high tide and part of the land during low tide. The sea formed the area after the end of the deck with an offshore platform to breed fish, and it also commonly used by the community to dock their fishing vessel. Okay, so next. For the research methodology, this research added another 5 research sub-research question to narrow down the scope of the 3 main research questions earlier. Before the data collection analysis started, this research adopted a methodology from the research Iron framework developed by Saunders et al. 2019. It's begin with philosophy and end with technique and procedure. How does this framework guide this research is when the 3 closest layers to the center determine the data collection method and data collection strategy of this research. On the other hand, the 2 outermost layers determine how the researcher will analyze the data and how the researcher will interpret the result. Next. For data collection procedure and data collection method, it can be understood in a time frame of before, during, and after the data collection. Before, hundreds of photos of children play were taken by one of the villagers, followed by formal letters to the head villager and phone call to build rapport. During the data collection, the researcher and team live like the budget community, including sleeping, eating, cooking, and playing. This research used 4 methods consisting of participant observation, auto photography, and video recording. Go along and focus group interview to accentuate young Bajaobian children as co-researcher of this research. It was conducted in 3 weeks, 2 weeks in first data collection, and 1 week in second data collection. Both were using purposive data sampling, and at the end accumulated a total of 45 participants. After the data collection, this research accumulated an avalanche of data, thousands of geotagged and ungeotagged photos, hundreds of videos, field notes, and checklists. So next. So the data were complicated, tangled to each other. So these qualitative data were analyzed from qualitative and quantitative analysis followed Burnett 1996. To answer each research objective, the qualitative data were analyzed using a different type of analysis in first phase and a second phase. For the first phase involving objective 1 and 2, it was answered by quantitative content analysis using MVivo 12+. So first phase is about text analysis to generate textual information. Therefore, in research objective 1, which is to explore the affordance of a fishing village in the coastal area from the young Bajaobian children play experiences, was answered by hierarchical and cluster analysis by showing the highest, lowest, dominance, and less dominant of affordances in presenting hierarchical of affordances in taxonomy and level of affordances. After we know how many affordances were available in research objective 1, in research objective 2, we want to examine the physical properties and attributes of the fishing village in the coastal area that afford children functioning in outdoor play. It was answered by metric query. Metric query helped researcher to compare 2 themes. One side a qualitative independent variable, which are properties and attribute NOEMA, and other side of dependent qualitative variable, which are level of affordances NOESIS. This analysis led a researcher to build generalizable statement from the connection between the theme known as hypothesis generating or hermeneutic hypothesis. So, the result from metric query were used in chi-square test via contingency table. It could show us in what phenomena the affordances were existed or actualized in their play, which show physical properties and attribute of the fishing village. Second phase of analysis, is in the research objective 3, which is to determine the pattern and trend of affordances level in the village through children experience. So the theme appeared earlier in research objective 1, were used as database in performing analysis for research objective 3. It means that it's merged from textual analysis in first phase to spatial analysis using a spatial statistic in second phase. So therefore, spatial statistic analysis via hotspot or GI and spatial trend via tracking analysis were used in showing the distribution of affordances over certain distance and spatial changes over time. So it illustrates the in situ behavioral responses. Eventually, each research objective, research objective 1 to explore, research objective 2 to examine, and research objective 3 to determine, all together will achieve the aim of this research, in which to discover the physical properties and attribute of a fishing village in a coastal area which affect young children sensibility through actualization of affordances that support their outdoor play. So next. So for research objective 1, it's begun with all the data underwent processes of translating, transcribing, coding, categorizing until the theme will appear using word cloud and word tree, then followed by hierarchy chart number 2 and 3 and cluster analysis. So next. For research objective 2, it was answered based on the analysis of metric query, and the result for metric query were used in a contingency table to run chi-square test. On the other hand, objective 3 has two parts. The first analysis focuses on a pattern using hotspot or GI analysis to generate Z, p-value, and level of confidence for each point. So next. At the end, it shows what type of spot on the color or later were interpreted. Second part of research objective 3 is to understand the trend. So it was answered based on the analysis of tracking analysis. This analysis show the appearances of affordances according to time and space in this coastal environment. So next. Result and discussion for research objective 1. So it was identified that the graspable is the highest taxonomy with 38%. Nevertheless, one category was identified unreported, which was relative smooth slope, primarily found by Hef and Kita. This means that the young budget beyond children actively involved in proprioception, abduction, and adduction-oriented movement. So second, next. Still answering research objective 1, the similarity index between the three levels of affordances, namely perceived, utilized, and shape, varied from 0.23 to 0.60. This finding extends the previous finding by Kita 2003, in which level of affordances not only demonstrate a cyclic action, but also were shown to be sequential, and rather than being destroyed, they could be stimulated to be potential affordances that could be actualized in the other event of play. So next, result and discussion for research objective 2. They are 4 physical properties and attributes that allow the children to actualize their affordances. And it was found that one of it because of the geographic setting in Kampung Tusan Baru. The metric coding and chi-square test suggests that the multiplicity of the affordances indicate the range of possibility that each zone in the geographic setting of the coastal environment offered for play action. Second is because of the second slide. So second is because of independent mobility. Both analyses suggest that the modes of independent mobility benefited the young budget-beyond children in orienting themselves to discover the potential of the coastal environments affordances. Next. Third is because of differences in natural phenomena. Children discover more affordances during day. However, when we compare the actualization of affordances based on the occurrences of high and low tide, during the day, children actualize more affordances during high tide. Meanwhile, the highest number of affordances happen at night during low tide. The two analyses demonstrate that the children notice the coastal environment dynamism in both the predictability and unpredictability of events. That is why when children were playing a similar game, they tended to have different weapons or instruments according to the type of natural phenomena. Next. Fourth is because of jargon. The jargon used show the human verbal behavior among young budget obedient children. As a result, both analyses show that the socialization ensure transmission of knowledge and had a practical dimension in that it allowed the young budget obedient children to understand the playscape of the coastal environment. Second, next. Sorry. The final one is because of physical characteristic. Both analyses denote that when the student recognize the physical characteristic on the element they encounter, it compels them to define the undefined element and seek new ways of responding. So that's why when children wanted to hit a rubber band Janatun, if you can see the picture is on your right. Okay, so that's why when children wanted to hit a rubber band tower, children create different rubber band Janatun. For short distance without a nail attached to it, and for long distance they have a nail attached to it, in avoiding it flung aimlessly. So next. For research objective 3, this research found 3 types of point, red, blue, and gray. It showed the frequency of encounter and intensity of action in children play. Therefore, this research categorized 5 types of behavior setting based on different distance varied from frequented high to occasional low. These 5 ranges show that the young budget obedient children acted and behaved differently. For instance, within 650 meters, which we can see in blue spot, children infrequently play at this space, but when children play, they engage with long hours of duration of play. Consequently, it influenced their navigational experiences when playing day and night in this space. Next. Next, a tracking map was used to map the affordances which move and change over time based on the 3 phases. A refer to the first week, B refer to the second week, and third refer to the third week. So the highest is in the second week, indicating appearances of the full moon. Second highest in the first week, and the lowest is in the third week. Next. So if you can see just now, you can why did the tracking analysis show inconsistent affordances in different week or phases? And it was identified that the young budget obedient children have local and place-based knowledge in showing the synchronization of the type. They even have different name for low and high type. So if you can see on your left, the first pair of the tie is the one is in red, known as Lalong Gabak and Lagot Tabah. Lalong Gabak was a massive high tide and could be determined based on the seawater level reaching the last step of the staircase near the house floor. In contrast, Lagot Tabah was an extremely low tide whereby the seawater level was at the first step or the water was drained until the seabed looked like land. The second pair of tide is one in blue, known as Bulagas and Bakanan. Bulagas is also high tide, but the seawater level stay at the middle of the staircase between the fourth or fifth step. This tide was partnered with Bakanan, a low tide, and the water level stay at the second or third step of the staircase. This pair did not show a hugely significant difference between high and low tide, which made it seem that the seawater level remained constant. Thus, as the moon phase changes, so the seawater level that reached the staircase near their house. So technically, the children read the synchronization as 3, 4, 4, 3, where the first phase is 3 and 4, and the second phase is 4 and 3. This sequence was repeated throughout the month until the new moon appeared. This situation gave flexibility for children to enjoy limelining fishing squid during Bulagas and Bakanan, in which they switch on the light at the end of the deck to attract squid during the night. Next. Conclusion of the finding. Kampung Tusan Baru is a child-friendly environment. It consistent of a set of uncountable affordances which create invitation feature. Consequently, affordances are not fixed functional property of this coastal environment in which the actualization of affordances in children play created noises. While the physical properties of the environment, namely geographic profile, natural phenomena, physical characteristic, followed by attribute consisted of jargon and mode of independent mobility create noema. So this made the coastal environment is an open-ended laboratory where each zone is a different arena of taskscape. Land like a field and track arena to test your physical fitness. In contrast, the transitional zone was an arena of exploration and inquiry. Finally, the sea was an arena for relaxing and for preparing the children for adult realm. This made noises and noema of Kampung Tusan Baru extend the meaning of place to become a play habitat, where it included freedom, imaginative resourcefulness, free-flowing material experimentation and risk-taking. Subsequently, the young budget beyond children are active co-constructor and negotiator. So next. For theoretical implication, this research contribute to first, the model of behavior setting that can be used to evaluate and determine the friendliness of children play habitat in the surrounding setting. It is based on the frequency of children encounter and the intensity of action they perform, which can be seen in vertical axis and horizontal axis. The children home in the middle is considered a node from their travel and which they return, which make it an intersection and a point of equilibrium. The ring of radius activity determine the probability of which division or partition the behavior setting belongs to. Hence, the more rings of radius activity through which the student could travel, the more varied their behavior setting could be, the friendlier the environment could be. The second is the model of trilogy of affordances, extension of the ecosystem related phenomena in which we can understand the mutual time-space negotiation. It can be categorized as rhythmic, seasonality, and cyclic. The rhythmic affordances can be understood based on two pairs of a type, which are lalung gabat, lagot tabah, and bulagas and bak kanan that occurred sequentially in a phase, in a week. Repetitive of rhythmic affordances create seasonality in 2 weeks, while repetitive of rhythmic create cycling in a month. Consequently, this create the pendulum of the children action, causing some of the affordances to oscillate back and forth. Next. For practical implication, this research focuses on 3 components: interaction and encounter, characteristic of affordances, and properties and attributes that contribute to the practical implication for planning and designing for children environment. Thus, the Y matrix diagram on your left connect these 3 types of criteria. The Y matrix diagram needs the children, parent, and designer to complete the ranking in the interconnected boxes between the 3 criteria. For example, the ranking in the interconnected boxes between the 3 criteria of properties and attributes are according to a categorization of elements into primary, secondary, minor, or not related. So the categorization of this matrix diagram, which the interconnected categorization, is just an example, and it may vary according to the need of different stakeholders in the context-specific measure that need to be considered. For methodological implication, this research shows that the combination of phenomenology and ethnography in the research methodology allow the researcher to experience the process of transition from constructivism to interpretivism. So next, this is a limitation of this research and suggestion for future research. Next, list of my publication. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Janatun.
Thank you.
Thank you, Faisal, for managing the slides. Okay, can you see my whiteboard now? All right. I hope everybody are still with us now. So this is a research for which that the external examiners, Professor Silton. Can we silence that? Yeah. Focus here. Yeah, we need to find. Okay. The external examiners, Professor Tracy Stilton, a British professor, he said that you need to publish many articles from your research because these are truly new research. Okay. So now let me summarize a bit. Okay, if you go to Faisal, can you go to slide number 29, if not mistaken? 29. Yeah, 28. Okay. So ladies, PhD candidates, right? You see, to get these are simple, right? And the language displayed by Janatun is so simple, right? Yeah. Kampung Tusan Baru is a child-friendly environment. That's it, simple. It is an open-ended laboratory. But guys, to get these two, open-ended laboratory and it's a child-friendly environment, took her 5 years to get this. But it displayed in the conclusion very simple. This is where the beauty of a scholar. You write it simple and it is meaningful. It easily can be understood, right? Right. Freedom, ingenuity, resourcefulness, free from material, experimentation, risk-taking. This is where the environment of Bajak Ubian, not environment in Solo. Okay. So therefore, this is what the context develops children's social behavior. This is the research. Okay. One more here. Can you show me my okay, here, student, PhD candidate. Under the conclusion, she directly links implication. She has two implications. One is the practical implication. The other is methodological implication. Right? Yeah. So these are some will look at theoretical implication. So this is important because this is part of the fundamentals that she has generated. This is a big contribution to child-friendly environment. Yes? So this is the thing that we need to do during PhD. This is a big contribution. You cannot find that conclusion in other theses in this world. I repeat, you cannot find in other theses in this world except in her thesis, Dr. Janatun. Yeah, this one. You cannot find it. This is where when you sweat for your effort, it becomes worthy. Because why? She did it skillfully. She did it skillfully. Thank you. All right. Any question you'd like to pose to Janatun?
Hi.
Hello? Any question?
Any question? No?
Miss Janatun, can I ask question?
Yeah, sure.
I see your presentation is interest presentation about the coastal area. If I'm from the Riau, Pekanbaru, near in Malaysia, we have a coastal area like Bengkalis Island and Rupat Island, who have the island people, indigenous people like Bajo people, orang laut and orang Belum and the Bangka is interest about the activity of children. So I just imagine I can adapt it your research in this area. Your novelty is very wonderful to see in another place, something like this. I just not ask questions, but I get you some applause for this presentation. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, that word, before Janatun reply, you are looking at this word, replication. Faisal?
Yep.
Replicate. The reliability, the and validity of the thesis method. It must replicate. Therefore, Faisal sense that if you bring that method into the coastal area in Pekanbaru.
Recording in progress.
Therefore, it can be replicated. That is clear. Okay, go ahead, Janatun.
Oh, please continue my research on in different area of coastal, because we need more coastal research situatedness, because Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines, we are in triangle, world coral triangle. So if we do not show our uniqueness, somebody else is going to show it. So we as local, we need to rigor in doing research in coastal, hopefully.
Thank you, Prof Ismail. Another with the replication, can I modification, like is this with the children activity? I phenomena with the economic activity in the coastal area, something like this with this method. I think
You should, because your context is different. You need to add additional parameters.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. That's good. That good. It's very good thinking, Faisal.
okay.
Oh, you can doing your research now. You can start do
That's
your
good.
research.
That's good thinking. Any more? Lady, kamu ngerti ya?
I hope, Prof.
Ya, kena selesaikan PhD ya.
Can I add something to Janatun, please?
Ya, Salmina, go ahead.
Oh
Salmina
yes.
orang mana? Orang Solo ya?
I'm doing PhD in ITS Surabaya, Prof.
Orang
Indonesia.
Surabaya ya?
Yeah, Surabaya. I'm currently at home in Medan, so it's near to Malaysia, I guess.
Medan.
Oh,
Okay.
hi.
Yep. First of all, that was really, really interesting, and I'd say it's very rich. You know, I mean, when the first you show the first slide, which showed the title, I was like, "What's this?" Upper dance, and then sensibility. I was like, "What is it about?" Because in Indonesia, I don't know, maybe in my campus, we always not force, but
Encourage.
encourage. We advise to do very architectural research when you are in architecture department. I don't know in any other campus, but that happening in mine. So when I see yours, that was really rich. And my question is, when you start the research, did you ever think or predict that this gonna be very rich? Your matrix, your diagrams, your findings about the behavioral mapping, everything was really, I don't know, that's so beyond of because me, I'm doing very simple project which is very architectural. I'm doing the influence of this to this, as simple as that. So I'd like to ask you, did you ever think about it that it will be very rich, very I don't know, very difficult also, I guess.
Yeah, very difficult.
Salmina, Janatun, let me answer this one before you answer. Okay.
Yeah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Janatun sent her paper, her manuscript, to children's geography. It's difficult to get through because by children's geography, if you submitted and get approved, you need to wait for 1.5 years for it published because a very long queue. But for Janatun, the editor contacts her personally that your research is beautiful. Therefore, her research been published after acceptance in 6 days, not in 1.5 years. Why? The editor knew the value the validity of this research. Jump. You can jump. Yes. This is where when we put your heart to it, Salmina, yeah? When you put heart to it, you will accept. Even though you come from UTM, nobody, well, American doesn't know UTM, right? The
Yeah.
British doesn't know UTM. Siapa ini supervisor dia Ismail ni? Tak tahu mereka tu. Yes. But research quality makes a fly. We want this. Okay, go ahead. Janatun.
Oh, okay. Regarding your question previously, I did not expect, and for your information, I do not have any idea who are they. So that's why I took initiative, like I presented in my slide just now. I asked one of the villagers to took hundreds of children photos. They are playing, so to have a general idea before I went to collect my data. When I collect the data, oh my God, it's so, I have to swim, I have to paddle the boat, because I'm using phenomenology and ethnography, right? So I sleep with them. They are very fit. So in a certain stage, I also need to keep up with them. So it's really challenging, and I'm never expect that their behavior, their activity is going to be so rich until it's really difficult to analyze, because I have not 100,000 of their play activities. So yeah, it's very challenging, but at the end, I think it's worth it.
Yeah, it's rewarding, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now it's already 10 o'clock. Can we have the last question? We have Anissa. I think they must be from Malaysia. Anissa.
Anissa. Okay, Prof, I have a question.
You're from UKM, right?
Yes, Doctor.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Question on the method. The data collection, you're using a qualitative method of data collection, which is the interview, observation, and then how do you decide to convert the data to a quantitative method of analysis? Do you have any analysis for the qualitative, meaning that maybe a thematic analysis based on the interview transcript and so on?
Oh, as I mentioned earlier, okay. As I mentioned earlier in my slide, oh, I forgot slide number.
Faisal, can you show the slide?
Slide number. Oh, I forgot already. Number next. Up. Okay, up again. Number 14. Number 14. Yeah. So I'm using a quantitative content analysis for the first part. So everything that my photos, my interview, and for your information, to do interview with this community, this Baja Ubian children, I also need to use different technique in interviewing, because I institute they as my co-researcher. So it is very important for me to ensure that they 100% participate in my research. So there was two interview, go along interview, and also focus group interview. And for your information, children have low focus attention. So I only can interview them maximum for 15 minutes, something like that. So what I did is during focus group interview, during their take turn of play, so that's the time that I interview. Why go along interview is used for exploration type of play. If you can see, they are hunting, collecting, or paddling. That one I use go along interview. So for the first phase is about textual analysis. So textual analysis is about transcribing, building your team, building coding, something like that. So I use quantitative content analysis. If you read, I think you must read. I think the analysis might different from different methodologies. If you read Creswell, they don't like to use dimension of magnitude and numbers because it represents quantitative. But if you read Krippendorf, I forgot, Krippendorf 2000 something. Krippendorf suggested that yes, we can use quantitative. So if you see the picture on your left adapted from Bernard 1996, you can see that in type of data from qualitative, you can have different type of analysis, quantitative and also qualitative. So I pick first and second quadrant. So because my research the analysis you should I would say like this, not necessary for you to analyze your qualitative to quantitative. It depend on what type of data you have, how many data that you have. So in my research, I have thousands of data. So I need to make generalization into the data. So that's why quantitative come in. So in quantitative, I use a simple quantitative analysis. The one that I use is from metric query. The numbers that you coding will I convert it the numbers of the coding team I use for chi-square test. And for second is partial statistical. In partial statistical, if you remember, I have a lots and thousands of photos, right? The photos actually are geotagged photos, which mean that photos with geographical location, longitude and latitude. So from there, I convert into spatial statistical. I use GIS so that I can have in situ behavioral action. So my research is about 2D. 2D, it means that I analyze to give interpretation, but 3D means that you can visualize in spatial, in space, something like that. So to answer your question, what I did is work in my context of study. So I'm not sure, maybe in your works also you can use, but not necessary to use. It depends on the depth of your saturation, I would say, saturation of your analysis. Am I answering your question?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Okay, guys, I think that is the thing that we're going to get this morning from our session. All right. Can I get back to the slide to my whiteboard here, Faisal? Okay. I hope that you all get certain insights, right? Motivation to complete your thesis with excellence, right? Meaning that you know that your thesis will contribute towards humanity, right? We must produce things that we must show a product, the thesis, right? That will provide humanity, yeah, that will benefit humanity. Yeah, this is important, right? So we spend 3 to 5 years, we must contribute in academically, right? All right. Thank you. Hopefully you all see next week. To those who like to listen what will be next week, do text to Daddy, so that Daddy will tell me what are we going to do for next week. Perhaps we can continue with our discussion, with our conclusion, or how can a discussion leads to conclusion. Okay, I can invite another 2 PhD student, graduate of mine. One is on heritage architecture. Then, of course, and also on arts and artwork with children. This is Dr. Irfan. All right. See you all. Thank you. Take care of yourself, right? But be rigorous in your research and complete your research, right? You must complete your research. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Assalamualaikum.
Prof.
Thank you,
Assalamualaikum.
Professor.
Semoga kita ketemu ya.
Ya, Prof.
Ya,
Saya
Prof.
akan pergi ke Pekanbaru nanti ya.
Saya tunggu, Prof. Siap.
Alright. Jambi, Pekanbaru, Batam, lepas tu Palembang, ke Lampung, ke Jogja, ke Solo, ke Makassar. Akhirnya Banjarmasin ya.
Pusing-pusing.
Ya, kita mutar semua nih. Assalamualaikum. Bye-bye.
Waalaikumsalam.
Bye.
Waalaikumsalam.
Langsung udah habis aja. Iya, Mbak Fitri. Biasanya foto dulu.
Terus tak foto kok Mbak.
Iya toh, ya syukurlah.
Tak
Ya,
foto. Kok cepet dengaran?
Lah, iki kita kudune 2 pembicara, tapi yang satu itu baru pulang dari Nigeria, mungkin jet lag gitu loh.
Ya. Ya wis. Ya oleh ning kantor meneh kana wis.
Apa?
Mbak Silvia ning kantor.
Nah, di resi nih.
Bu ning residen toh? Oh
iya.
Iki kursine. Oh. Siapa sih ning kono?
Mbak Dian.
Oh, dia. Oh, ya.
Terus Mbak Cynthia kemarin katanya flu. Waduh.
Wah, kan. Tak kayak anu wingi apa? Harddisk wingi kan ben buka. Oh, akreditasi. Buka. Ya wes, oke Mbak. Terima kasih.
Kami Mbak, kalian sama terus.